Hi there, Sims fans. This is Hued Moll. Welcome to my Let's Play. I'm going to take you through a facilities tour of the prison for my Prison Zombie Apocalypse Challenge. So this episode, we're going to take this tour. There are the front gates. You can see here in the yard, the warden's house is on the right side. That's just a little space for the warden's living area. This is a prison actually that I've played before, and we're going to remodel it in a second. After we've walked through what's here, I'm going to remodel a couple of sections here. This you see is his living room. I went for a really cutesy kind of Victorian look because in this challenge the warden is evil, and I thought it would be a nice contrast to have him have a cute little house. I was also very inspired by the Sims Supplies version of a Sims 4 prison challenge where he kind of did something similar. I basically saw his Let's Play and got so excited I had to have a prison that day, and I went and built this one and started playing with it, and I came up with my challenge rules. Here's the upstairs of this. You'll see there are 3 rooms. The first room is just an upstairs bathroom with his shower. And the next room is just his bedroom with a standard bedroom stuff, his bed and his dresser, little clothing hamper, seating area. And the final room upstairs here is his study with a little desk and his computer and his bookcases. This is for him to retreat. We're going to meet the warden. My warden is Warden Weevil, and he's got the evil traits. All he ever does is troll on the internet and post mean forum postings on that computer. Here in back of his house, with a separate entrance for the prisoners, is the dining room and the kitchen. They're kind of joined here. The kitchen, you see, it's going to be behind a locked door, and only the inmate who is assigned the job of being the cook will be able to get back there, and they will pass the meals through on that little passover where the counters are. I think I'm going to go through here and kind of get rid of some of these appliances, though. These may not be the appliances in the game because I think some of those are unbreakable. And one of the rules, I've done a big rule sheet for this game that I will link to in the comments below. Also in this video, we'll briefly go over the rules, but they're written up and posted on several forums, and I'll put the links below. But I don't want appliances in here that are breakable, that have unbreakable or self-cleaning on them. This is the cell block ward. These cells here that you're looking at that were on the left there that have toilets in them are intake cells. When a prisoner first comes into the prison, they're going to be put in one of these intake cells for the first 3 days, and then they'll go into Gen Pop for general population cells that were to the right upstairs. This is the laundry room. This area I'm zooming in on was the original kind of intake area. So originally when someone comes into the prison, they would come down here and get assigned their uniform and new haircut. But I'm going to rebuild that later in this build. These are solitary rooms. They just have a sleeping bag and a wall-mounted speaker. The wall-mounted speakers are used for waking prisoners up like an alarm system. Here we're back on the main floor. These are cells now in the Gen Pop area. So we're walking through the doors. When you get out of intake, for intake the whole time you're in there, you're just locked in. Gen Pop, you've got kind of free range of all the prison facilities. So there's room for 8 inmates to sleep here on the first floor, and some chest tables for them and little bookcases in the cells. And those doors won't be locked at night, but all the prisoners will be sent to sleep at around 10 p.m. But they aren't locked in. The toilets and the showers are upstairs. And when you get moved into this area, we'll go through at the end of this video, you get assigned your prison job. There's the toilet area upstairs here along this walkway. There's a computer room and a library and a chapel at the back that we're going to walk through. And the showers over here, I've got the outdoor showers all set up. You can see I've done the kind of like Oz on the HBO series, that prison. We're not using bars because I didn't feel like downloading custom content like that. These are all standard, and it's a transparent kind of prison where everything is through a window. That's our little chapel, the computer room. So even the showers and the toilets, the guards can look in at any time. Here's the little library which I will stock at some point with some skill books for the prisoners. And that is pretty much the Gen Pop area, these two levels. I think I'm going to show the kind of dollhouse view of it now. So when we're playing, it'll mostly look like this, with that upstairs area and the downstairs area, with intake cells here along the bottom of the screen and the Gen Pop area on the other side, and then the solitary cells here and the laundry. And when you're in Gen Pop, you have full access to the recreation area that's behind the prison. So here I go, pretending I'm an inmate, walking over there. The prison is kind of fenced off, so the inmates can't get to the green areas except for the yard in the back here. See, the rec room has a guitar and some art easels, the sculpture thing, and some treadmills. Upstairs there's a classroom, sorry for my wonky camera, with a science skill builder, a podium for charisma building, a whiteboard. Then through these doors you go out into the exercise yard. I am going to put some martial arts equipment back here. I'm going to go to Buy Debug and buy the martial arts skills developers. I've got some basketball courts and some weightlifting machines and some chin-up bars out here for now, and a little kind of homemade like circular track that I did with the terrain paints. It looks kind of wonky, but that's my homemade version. There it is in kind of the dollhouse view. And then this area here is the prison offices. It's got two offices. You'll see the warden is down there, kind of just playing on the computer. And they've got a stereo in there. That's for when you turn that on, it goes into all the wall-mounted speakers in the cells, and that wakes everybody up in the mornings. These guard towers are not really functional. I didn't put the stairs in them, so you can't really access those. They're more decorative. Maybe at some point, if I feel like I'm going to make a prisoner a trustee or something and want them to patrol those walls, we can put some stairs in one of them, but really they're they're not really functional right now. And that is the long view of the prison before. Now I'm going to start the remodel. I've gotten rid of that offices building. I'm going to rebuild it closer in. Now, the reason I'm remodeling the prison is, first of all, I wanted the intake area to be not in the basement of the kind of cell blocks. I wanted intake to be before you went into the cell blocks. That just story-wise seemed like it made more sense. So what I'm going to do is put all the stuff that was in the basement, the little chest of drawers and the mirror, here in the bottom floor of this building. And I'm going to build some just more decorative towers along the top so it looks like it belongs in the prison, and put an office with the stereo that will play for the mounted speakers next door to the intake room. So I mess around a little bit on this. It takes me a few tries to figure out exactly what I want to do on this one. But I just thought aesthetically that would kind of look better. It'd make more sense to have the intake room there on the grounds of the prison. And then in the second part of this remodel section, the speed build section, I am building an alchemy lab where the old guard tower building was, in the green space behind. And why am I doing that? Well, we'll get to the challenge rules at the end, but one of the basic challenges of this, since it is the zombie apocalypse prison challenge, is that the warden is going to have the lifetime wish of being a zombie master, and one of the prisoners is going to be assigned the job of prison alchemist, and they will have to go into the alchemy lab and develop their alchemy skill until they can build a potent zombification potion. Yeah, there we go. A little bit of a tongue twister. And once they're able to do that, the warden will use 10 of those potions to make random townspeople zombies, and then achieve his lifetime wish of being the zombie master. And once he's done that, we have unleashed the zombie apocalypse, and the challenge is over. So I'm going to build the alchemy lab in the backyard here. And it is going to be a locked alchemy lab. It's going to be actually entirely inaccessible. You'll see I started in just a bit. I'm finishing up the tower. I'm making those guard towers look like the rest of the guard towers on the walls. And I think I'm going to start building the intake room soon. Yep, there I am getting the furniture from the intake area. So when a prisoner is first brought into the prison, they go first into that room, and the warden's office will be just to the side of it where the stairs are not. The other building, the other room there in that building is going to be for the warden. And he'll have glass windows so he can kind of oversee the intake of the inmates and how that works. And you will meet him later in this video. As soon as this remodel is done, we will meet the warden in Create a Sims and walk through his wardrobe and his traits. And then I'm going to go over the challenge rules at the end of this portion, and then the next step, we actually start playing. The lot here is in Aurora Skies. I built the prison specifically on this lot. I am going to upload it to the Exchange, so if you want to play, actually a version of it is uploaded. The pre-remodel version is already on the Exchange. Just look for Hued Moll on the Exchange and you can find it. And it's perfectly good. You can just lock a room for your alchemy lab. You don't have to do the fancy thing you're about to see me do in this backyard area in a second. And it plays pretty well. I played half a game. I didn't get quite to the alchemy part because I was just developing the rules and seeing how it played. But I kidnapped a full prison of 7 townspeople and ran them through a daily schedule and assigned them jobs, and it seems to work. Like, none of the showers are positioned so you can't use them, and it all comes together and is pretty playable. So if you do play it and you download it, let me know what you think. And there are a few other prisons online, and again, this is kind of modeled, parts of it, at least the warden's house, a bit on what the Sim Supply did. Oh, okay, here I've started the locked alchemy lab. It's going to look very weird, and I owe this one to another build. Everybody I'm kind of thanking here, like the Sim Supply for his challenge, and the person I owe for this, I'm going to put links to in the credits and in the comments. But Pleek on YouTube has a great build for a diamond nightclub. This is one of my favorite YouTube builds. And that is what I based my alchemy lab on. His has a front entrance and a spiral staircase, so it's totally accessible. But this building I'm building right now is going to have absolutely no entryway. And these are the windows from the, I think it's is it Starlight Performing Arts Center? They are specialty windows you get from the Sims store. Skylight Performing Art, it's the Performing Arts Center with a whole bunch of roof decorations. They're mainly skylights. One of these windows is in windows, and every other window you see me using is in skylights, which is kind of confusing. But if you kind of pay attention, if you're going to build this yourself and you slow it down and look at where I'm getting the windows at the bottom of the screen, you can figure out which ones, where they are. It's always kind of confusing when I go to build it. I've made a nightclub like this, like Pleek's, and this is the second or third time I've built this. What it is going to look like when we're done is the Sims Plumbot. And you see me turning on move objects with the cheats because sometimes placing these windows, you have to put these weird walls at the bottom, and you have to brace the skylight things because I'm not using them exactly as they're supposed to be used, so it gets a little wonky. It always takes me a while to figure out, so this is a longer portion of the video than I would like, but it's a really cool looking feature, and I've made it Sims green so that it looks like the little diamonds on top of people's heads. And towards the end I put a lot of nice lighting in it so it kind of shows up well at night. And I have a nightclub on the Sims Exchange that's got one of these buildings in it that you can download, and if there's any interest I can put the prison with this on it for you to use. It's such a cool looking building, I feel like, when it's all put together. Now, okay, so the reason that it's completely sealed off, I think you may be wondering what use is this building since nobody can get in it. That's going to be an additional challenge of this. I thought it might be a little too easy just to have the alchemist start working and to just from day one and have free access to the lab. So in order to get into this lab, the alchemist is first going to have to use those martial arts tools that I'm going to put in the yard to build their martial arts skills up to, I think it's level 7, when you can meditate and then Zen port. So they're going to have to do that first, and then Zen port into their alchemy lab, and then start skill building on alchemy to get to learn the potent zombification potion. So it's going to be kind of a long challenge. We may have to make some ambrosia for our prisoner and our warden, because getting that potent zombification potion is kind of difficult. You need a lot of rhinoceros beetles, and they're not the easiest thing to catch. The other ingredients are pretty easy. We'll have a gardener for the prison who will grow, I think it's wolfsbane flower and glow orbs. We'll know for sure when we get there. But those aren't so difficult to get. But those rhinoceros beetles, man, the warden will be the only one who can go out and get them, and that's going to be tricky. Oh, what you see me doing here is I've gone to the buy debug cheat menu and gotten these lights. These lights only show up in build mode, and if you shift click on them, you can customize the color. So I've made them green to match the surrounding green to give it kind of we really are going for an Oz Emerald City feel, I think, a little bit with this prison, with lots of transparent glass and lots of green, and that's what these lights are doing. And in a minute I'm going to maximize it and kind of, there we go, we can see it at night, how it's all lit up. It's a little less green because with move objects on, sometimes you see some of these windows, the wall is showing through and they're not totally transparent because move objects, you can get the window just next to the wall and it looks kind of crummy, but I fixed that by the end of it. Here's me putting in a kitchen. When the alchemist is able to Zen port into the lab, that's going to be their new cell. They're not going to come back out for any reason, so unless they're delivering potions to the warden. So they're going to have a little kitchenette and fully tricked out, and a nice little bed, and one of those combo toilet shower creations, which I love. Well, I love time-saving things in The Sims. It'll be a 2-level kind of cell with all the living stuff here on the top. And then the bottom floor will have Alistair's alchemy station and probably nothing else in this build. I may put some of the martial arts training things so the alchemists can keep their martial arts up maybe, but we'll see if that happens. So, yep, here comes Alistair's alchemist station. Oh, and I will put, I didn't do it in this build, but I will put the alchemy shelves so I can store some potions in here and kind of decorate it a little better. But there is our standalone locked alchemy lab, and that is the remodeled prison. So again, I'll put this up on the exchange if anybody wants it. There's Hued Moll just kind of modeling in front of the little plumb bob. Oh, here's the warden. This is Warden Weevil. We're going to walk through his traits in Create a Sim here. Here are his outfits. First of all, this is his everyday look. It's a Western wear inspired look with his Lone Star belt buckle and his hat. His formal wear, similar to that, is kind of the Kentucky Fried Chicken Colonel Sanders look here. You see his white suit. He's sleeping in his long johns. His athletic wear is coming up a little bit slower. It's just a tracksuit, nothing terribly exciting. There it is. And his swimwear, his leopard print shorts. And his outerwear is the same as his formal wear. It's just his white suit. His traits, he's charismatic, a coward, evil, mean-spirited, and has no sense of humor. And that lifetime wish, of course, he wants to be a zombie master. So on to these challenge rules. The basic way it's going to work is we're going to befriend and imprison at least 7 townsfolk, give each one of them a job. The 7th prisoner is our alchemist. That alchemist needs to make those potent zombification potions, and then the warden will use them to unleash the zombie apocalypse. But the prisoners can get released from prison. When they first come in, they're going to go to one of these intake cells that we looked at. We're going to gather information on when they come in. They'll go out 3 days later, and what their sentence is. There's going to be 3 levels of sentences when we bring a prisoner into the prison. They can be charged with a misdemeanor, a felony, or just a life sentence given out. And we'll go over what each one is. Misdemeanors is just for random people that get pulled into prison that don't have any bad traits. And when they come in, I'm going to pick a trait for them to max out. And when they've maxed it, they can leave. The criminal will also max out a release trait, but also has to buy the midlife crisis reward with a 20,000 lifetime happiness points. A criminal gets a felony sentence if they have any of these traits when I get them into intake. Absent-minded, brooding, can't stand art, clumsy, commitment issues, coward, grumpy, hot-headed, inappropriate, kleptomaniac, loser, mean-spirited, mooch, no sense of humor, rebellious, and unlucky. For a life sentence, if they come in, and getting a life sentence means you are never released if you come in with the traits evil or insane, and those are great prisoners to have. We're going to be looking for them because they'll never get out of prison, and they would be perfect alchemists for us. After you're out of intake, you get assigned one of these 6 jobs. The 7th job is alchemist, and there'll be a daily schedule for people to follow depending on their assigned job. Every inmate also gets 1 opportunity to work towards their release trait skill, and those will just be kind of picked depending on what skill building objects we have in the prison, and kind of at random during intake. And I think that is the challenge setup. So I'm very excited to get started. Tune in again soon. Episode 2, we're going to actually play this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm excited to get going.